Another reason, as I said, I was very keen on talking to you is because you are interviewing large number of CEOs and startup people. And as MHRD Innovation Cell, we are promoting startup and innovation culture within our educational institutions. So we felt that your experience based on your own startup, media startup, as well as talking to these CEO startup will be extremely helpful to our youngsters. So that was the reason also I felt that we should talk to you. So I will start with a very basic fundamental question. What motivated Shraddha to start your story platform?
Thank you so much. First of all, it's a great honor to be interviewed by you. I really look up to you. I find you as a refreshing change in the academic setup. So it's a great honor, and now you are taking my role also of interviewing. So thank you. Why I started your story? I started your story in 2008, and before that, I was working with media with Times of India, which is a large newspaper print
So
publication. And
you left a very high paying job and ventured into the startup world.
yeah, I left CNBC. I was in a very senior role over there. But in 2008, so the thought that came to my mind is I am from Bihar, and Biharis are ridiculed because of the way we speak in Hindi and English. And I thought that sometimes people can't tell their stories very well, and we judge them. Whoever can speak very well, we think they have good stories. But I think all of us have good stories, but not all of us can communicate very well. And I grew up in an environment where I was always made fun of the way I speak Hindi. In Bihar, when we say मैं, we say हम जा रहे हैं, and we have a very sing-song way of saying. So I thought that sometimes, there were so many things that we shouldn't judge people because they can't tell their stories well. So how do you tell people's story and stories where we think अच्छा ये story में दम नहीं है. How can we judge कि ये story में दम नहीं है? How can we bring out the beauty, the meaning, the purpose in all stories? And that's why, and I thought the role of media and the role of good communicator and a good storyteller is to tell a story very well. And somewhere I thought in 2008 media was not telling stories of young people, startups, people who were just doing interesting things. They were not considered heroes like they are today. And that's why, and I checked everywhere, no media was doing that. So I said, okay, let me tell their story. And the second thing was that media gets eyeballs on negative stories. So I said, let me tell stories, positive stories, because every day if you open TV, everywhere you are hearing negative. So how can we make positive story cool, right? Like the cool thing.
Yeah,
So
but what you say, Shraddha, makes extremely sense, Currently, if you really even look at current media also, people are chasing TRPs, people are just chasing eyeballs through sensationalism, through breaking news. But then what made you feel that people will come to your platform for positive stories?
So, sir, to be very honest, I didn't know that people will come in such large numbers. Today, there are millions of people in this country, in India, outside India, who come. But when I started in 2008, honestly, I didn't know that so many people will come. But, I was meeting people and I could see, the need in them to be heard, to tell their story, and I could hear that people were getting tired of listening to everyday negative story. For example, right now we are in COVID-19, and you see I've started this help desk COVID-19 where I'm telling positive stories of people who are doing making change, because every day you open and we are looking at how many people died, how many people have, every day we are looking at depressing stories, and as human beings there is an instinct to look for hope, to look for positivity, to look for something to hold on to. And that's what I thought, that I had that assumption that what I want to because I had come from a very difficult background, and made things happen for myself because I looked at people who could do it. So I said, let me create that positive thing, and there will be some people who will look at this for inspiration, for hope, that I can do it too. And to my surprise, now it's 12 years and there are more than 15-20 million people who read your story every month. So yeah.
So, Shraddha, as you said, that you started your story in 2000, and certainly the initial days might have been of huge struggle. So, whether you felt that at any point of time that this is not going to work, you should shut down your shop. Because this is very relevant currently considering this COVID crisis, and large number of businesses are actually going to take a huge hit, you know, and might be on the verge of closing down or thinking that they should shut down their shop.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. To be very honest with you, many a times I did think about shutting down, and it's very natural. So earlier I used to judge myself that why am I constantly thinking, oh, it is not working out, because it is very hard. And the first 3 4 years, especially in what I was doing, online media, in a country like India where TV and print still works. We are not like America and Europe where digital has completely taken over. So starting something, that too telling positive stories where everyone, the TRPs on negative stories. So it was very hard. It was very hard to make people believe in this. It was very hard to get everyone to come and start working in this. So I had too many challenges initially, and many a times I wanted to shut it down, especially when there was no money to be made. For the first few years, I was just making trickle of money, right? And once I was getting so much of salary in a stable job, and suddenly you are on the road when nobody wants to talk to you. You have a conviction, but you are not making any money. So it was very hard, and there were days I wanted to shut down, but what kept